Hi Jeff, how you doing? How's it going? Let's get my oh, that looks a bit big, doesn't it? Sensible size. All right. Excellent. How we doing? Who else we got? Tyler Shreds. Hey, how you doing? How's it going? Right. Hold on. Going on with that up my head. Right. Where do we start? Well, yesterday's session was pretty good. I thought it went quite well, and people enjoyed the Dorian session that I did. I still got the quick backing track I made up there. So I think today. Yeah, good to see you too, Taylor. So I think what I would do is I'll continue because what was happening is we started building licks. I'll just turn this heater off. It gets very cold in this basement. It takes a bit for it to heat up. Hence me always wearing a jacket and complaining about the cold. So the Dorian thing kind of went quite well. So I thought I'd just look at some more lick building stuff because it was getting quite fun. So that's what I'm going to do. So to in the future when people switch this on and see me here, just remember if you're on for the first time, do like the channel and subscribe if you're interested in it. That would be absolutely great because the support massively helps. But apart from that, if who's working on what on their guitars, what sort of things are you working on? And actually, the main question is what do you want to talk about? So we have got lick building. I can default to that. But what I'm also interested in is, what are people's number one guitar problems? All right, at the moment, and maybe we could start with there. So whatever you're experiencing at the moment, that's sort of you feels holding you back. We can talk about that. Other than that, if there's any sort of questions that you have, do ask. I'm all ears, and it's a great thing to do whilst I warm my hands up in my pocket and hold a cup of coffee. So number one problems. I know what my number one problem is. My number one problem at the minute, right, is having multiple techniques, right, and the problem I have is sometimes if I practice one of them intensely, it's very hard to get back to the other ones. They become quite awkward, and that's just due to sort of changing hand positions and getting used to like one hand position. So my hand position when I'm hybrid picking is a lot different from my picking one sometimes. So going between the two can then become difficult. So I have to actually practice transitioning between techniques as well. Same with alternate picking. When I'm doing a lot of economy picking, I'm not changing directions necessarily as quickly all the time, frequently. So, and then I have to practice things where there's a lot of different angles in it to kind of get that back. What's your opinion on Strandberg guitars? Yeah, I mean, they're really nice to play. The only thing about Strandberg is there's only really one guitar, isn't there? Like, and everybody's the same. So yeah, I mean, it's a typical modern guitar, plays really well. Very good at what it does. They sound great. But I don't want to say anything bad, but everybody's the same, aren't they? And I like the fact, like, Kiesel, they've got lots of different models. There's tons of different stuff to choose from. It's a custom shop. You can pull things off the shelf and kind of add different things together and come up with your own thing. which is what and they absolutely play lovely, and you know they're a great modern guitar. So yeah, but you know, me Kiesel, I think they're amazing, but Strandberg good. So that's sort of like what I've done, you know, out of when I've played them. All right, next question. What else have we got? So, who's got any sort of things on guitar happening that they want to talk about? And I'll pick a guitar up eventually. I can start tuning it, can't I? So I've got one thing that I needed to fix in my playing, which I'm going to show everybody. So I can demonstrate a problem. Got this chair. Right, there we go. And we've got another comment. Strandberg, everybody has different things they like, and that's fine. Right, cool. Right, tuning. Right, have I got any sound? Let's have a look. Oh, that's distorted, isn't it? Very heavy. All right, so good day to all. Hi, WC. Oh, right, yo, searching YT, Jagus do. It's in Spanish, but the guitar, can't pronounce it, is really good. Interesting. I love tuning with the right hand. You got to get in there, haven't you? All right, so I'll probably just start showing you something. Yeah. When I warm up. Okay, here we go. Yeah, headless, love them. Just helps me fit into this space, you know. getting those hands working. Right. But by the way, if you go live vertically, you'll get more people, but you have to keep going vertical for it to go up more. Interesting. I think the only thing with vertical is I need watch time. No, will that count as it wouldn't count as a short, would it? I mean, actually, it's worth an experiment. I might experiment with that. It doesn't count as a short. It's to get me. I just think vertical. That means a short. So yeah, no. Of course it doesn't, because it's going out as live, isn't it? Silly me. And Nisha, how you doing? You can still get watch hours. Brilliant. All right, let's do some stuff. So just, I was putting it out there. It's a Q&A. So I think the best thing to do is if I just start doing something and see if that sparks any questions. All right. So what we're going to do today is some pentatonic stuff, and I'll probably come back to some Dorian things as well from yesterday. But for me, it's these really weird sort of. It's another flavour of. I mean, technically, it's not the right term, but I suppose pentatonic type arpeggios. So it's like 2-1-2, but they've got these really weird fingerings. So I'll just go through them. You need to be warmed up a bit. So we'll just do this as we're sort of like in a... Well, we'll go for E minor. So just easy key to teaching, isn't it? Your streams look super professional. Why only... I don't know. Well, I know why. It's because, basically, the reason it's like that is because I don't make enough content. That's why. And I only do lives. Yeah, the dots on the neck are cool. Anyway, here we go. So this is what we're going to do. We're in E minor, and I'm going to start this actually. We're going to be sort of on the 5th string, and technically on the 5th string we're in position 5. So the first part of this is going to look like this, right? Now the weird thing about this is you get this kind of crossing your 2nd finger over your 3rd, but it's an essential thing to do. For a number of reasons. A, that's quite awkward with the roll and getting to the other notes that you need to get to. And B, you get much more clarity and accuracy by crossing these fingers. So this kind of technique was something I ignored for quite a bit of my career. And then just what's happened is, because I've been getting bored of my playing and then looking at fusion planes, I've noticed the crossing of fingers more and more, how it's used. And it's just a great way to get around the neck and to play other sort of complicated things, right? Which I will show people over the course. But the first bit of this is we're starting on D, on the 5th string. and then we're hammering with our second finger to the 7th fret, and then we're going to our third finger, which I'm picking. So it's pick, hammer, pick. And then what I do is I hybrid the third string. Now there's a bit of a stretch here, so we've got a stretch from 3 to 1 there. And it gets even more stretchy, because actually what we're going to do is we're going to stretch. We're going to do this weird stretch. We're stretching a minor third with between our first and second fingers, so. And then we're going to have our third finger on the 8th fret. So that's the ascending part of this. So pick, hammer, pick, hybrid, hammer, pick, hybrid, hammer, hammer. And then when we come down, all it is we just pull off. And then we're going to pick all the way down, so it's just going to be an upstroke, so a sweep. So it's a great like little finger pattern to get sort of like interest going, because it's pentatonic scale, but the configuration sounds a lot different. And it fits in really nicely with just sort of regular pentatonic fingerings. So of course that's the first position, all right. Next position is our root position. Bit easier to play this one because you're just vertically going down. Minor third, same picking. Pick, hammer, pick, hybrid, hammer. And you can start combining positions. Right. Cool. Okay, next position. It's just very fun, sort of like when you're jamming about with it. Now this one's quite awkward, alright, because there's lots of sort of like this thing going on where you're folding the third finger under the second. So that's the first bit. Pick, hammer, pick. And then we're stretching back to the 9th fret, the hybrid. So if you're practicing these shapes just to get that kind of motion, you could just practice the first 3 strings of this. So down, down, hybrid, hammer. So it's a little bit awkward, but doable. Great for finger accuracy. Now, if you find these kind of stretches and this folding of the finger awkward, and you feel there isn't enough flexibility in your hands, just keep going with it, because that it will happen, you know. I mean, my hands. I mean, I was a total shredder when I was like 19, flying all over the place. But actually, I must say, my hands are much more supple now than they were back then, and that's from doing stuff like this. So, next position. So this one, we've got first finger, hammering, tucking our third finger underneath on the 14th fret. First finger, hammer, that's with the hybrid, pick, hybrid. So there's like lots of things we can do getting about the neck with this. So next position, and this is really the final one, then you've got all the positions. So we've got a minor third stretch here. So we've got first finger stretching to the 17th, and then tucking the third finger underneath that. So we've got a one note there, hammer, pick, hybrid. Okay. Everybody following? So I'm just waiting for the very cool lesson. Right, cool. So I'm hoping this actually inspires some questions. So I was doing some coaching last night, and the thing about when I'm coaching is take people through games, which we call them exercises, but better to call them games because it seems more fun. But they're all designed in a cool way, not in a destructive way, by the way, to actually highlight various problems in sort of, making music. So by giving somebody something, an idea to run with, it creates various creative problems, and therefore there's a discussion to be had around that, and then solutions. And the way that we get better and the way that we improve, right, is basically embracing problems and coming up with solutions. And that's what this is about. So, by me, I probably know people will find this difficult. I found it really difficult. I'm not saying like I'm an amazing player, but this kind of tucking, this sort of fingering here. Quite challenging. No, not challenging, problematic. And it was something I had to work at, But actually, you can see over the sort of various course of me doing all of these lessons, I'm really enjoying doing the lessons, so I'll just do tons of them, right, till I get absolutely sick. Because part of it is actually, I want to get really good at sort of demonstrating stuff on camera, because it's an important skill, and the way to do that is to do back-to-back sessions. So, when I'm doing this, I'm actually learning myself, really. But if you think about it, you build up all of these different finger positions and ways to approach the pentatonic scale, so You know, we can play it like that, can't we? And then we've got these other fingering patterns. So there's another one. So we've done this sort of stuff in the past, and now we've got... So we've got all these different variations of patterns which we can mix and match and add and go between one and the other. So you're building up basically, you know, that's what people say, like the vocabulary. You know, so that's going between sort of this idea. So just again, E minor. So you can think of it like an arpeggio, but really it's a pentatonic scale. So I'm just going 1, hammering onto 17, second finger on 14, first finger on 12, hammering with 4th finger on 16, 15 with the 3rd, and then 17, 1 and 17. So we can get quite an interesting sound from that. Hello, how you doing, weird guy? If you're new to the channel, do subscribe. Just doing a little bit of a guitar lesson today. Oh, went in the wrong key there. So the cool thing about this is just going between sort of those 3 different fingering ideas, isn't it? You know, so we could have, let's say we did something like... There's a little lick, isn't it? I love that 9th note landing on that. Okay. And the way we choose to do these things is just depending on what sort of sound we want. So to take you through it, this first little bit, just a little sequence. So I'm going 17, pulling off, 15, 14. And then I'm going first finger on the 12th, 15th fret, 14th, and then pulling off. You could even do like 4 in a group of 3. So 4, 3. Or just groups of 4. And then all I'm doing is running up a 3-1-3 pentatonic scale, so... So we've got 1, 2, and 4 on 12, 14, 16. 3rd finger on 15. First string now. We've got first finger, 3rd, 17. And of course you could pick things or hammer them. What would you consider to be the biggest change in your playing since the early shred days? Oh, that's a good point. The biggest pain is the biggest thing's got to be using multiple techniques fluently and all the time and consistently in my playing and being a better improviser. So, and what I mean by that is being able to, when I was shredding, it was a lot of tapping and alternate picking, legato. But like now, I've got a few things doing different jobs. So like now, I prefer to have the bulk of what I do is economy picked when we're talking about picking anyway. So a lot of it's like economy picking and the lethal combination of alternate picking as well. So, I got really good at sort of inside picking, which is every guitarist's nightmare usually. And then that wasn't enough. I needed to be able to play, different sort of odd groupings of notes and to be able to pick every note. So that's when I came across, decided to do economy picking and sort of embrace the challenge of that. So that was, and then just building that into your playing as a constant thing, it was, quite demanding. And then in addition to that, hybrid picking, so just being able to do wide interval stuff and have a different tone when you're playing. And a different set of dynamics, then I brought in hybrid picking as well. So those two things. Right, what do I mean by inside picking? So we'll have outside and inside motions. And the best way to show you this is, if you're doing a pentatonic scale, come round this way. Quite hard to see on this guitar. I'll just swap guitars 2 seconds. Should be in tune. We'll see. See if you can see a little bit better on this one. Not really, but anyway, we'll go with it. So what it is, there we go. Right. So what it means is, so if we're playing like an even number of notes, if we're just doing a pentatonic scale, right? We've got a down, up, and down. Okay. In fact, better yet, we'll do 3 notes per string, so that's going to be a lot easier to see. So if I just take this, what's actually happened now with the pick is I'm going down, up, down, and when I change to the next string, it's an upstroke. So actually the motion's coming outside of the strings. Inside motion is inside the strings. So if I start with an up, I'm going up, down, down. So we're inside, outside. Inside. So that's what that is, if that makes it clear. But usually, I think like most people find like inside motion more difficult. And the reason to do with that is because they get used to holding the pick in one direction. And then when you don't change direction for the inside motion, the pick gets trapped between strings. Just realised something. Where are we? Oh, just got done playing some Pantera. Lovely. Yeah, I'm currently using Nunchuck, and it's a preset that you'll get with it that I did. So in my presets, if you use Breakup, you will have this identical tone. This one here. breakup kind of sound. We've covered that, so I hope that clears that up. Hi Sean, how you doing? Do you play it with an amp or using DI? I always use DI, so at the minute I'm using Nunchuck, which is an amazing new amp made by the wonderful company Polychrome DSP. There you go. Who I'm an artist with. Oh, I've never heard it explained like that before. Very helpful. Cool. There's that Tim guy who claims to be Northern England. That's true. No, I am. Well, I'm originally from Sunderland. Nunchucks, I don't like violence. Hi Texas, how you doing? You're rocking the breakup now, that's cool. How mad is that we've now got like the same guitar tones? That's crazy, isn't it? So I just made the breakup thing. I just wanted something that was like super dynamic, you know. So you can have a nice kind of plinky plonky kind of clean sound, and then you can sort of add a bit more drive when you pick harder. Yeah, you can hear the stereo effect. And there's another preset on there called Hutch Wide. Which will give you a super sense of wideness. It's absolutely awesome for leads. I don't know. I'll just put this on and see. God. Yeah, so yeah. Ooh, what key are we in? Who wrote this? All right. Me, by the looks of it. We're in B minor. I'll continue. Here we go. So, You can get a sense of the wideness on that lead in the mix. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take us back to our oh no, wait a minute. Yeah, I'll take us back to our previous jam, which was from yesterday, which was a good sort of demo track for things. 2 seconds, the microphone will go quiet whilst this loads up. There we go, we're back. Right. So far so good with the lesson. So yeah, Sean, I don't know if I mentioned, just, you know, it's another lesson today. And what I've been doing is I've just been covering some more really weird pentatonic arpeggios that I use. So I'll just give you the first one, but if you go back, if you want to learn all of these, I have done all 5 positions. E minor, because it's a great key to teaching. So it's this kind of thing with like weird, sort of like stretchy things, but I was just telling everybody is sort of this kind of fingering is quite important for certain things, you know, like these like little pentatonic shapes. So that's there. There's all the positions there, and then really what it's all about is just taking all of these patterns when you learn them, and like one way I practice them is I'll just pick like a favorite pattern. So I think we're in A Dorian now. So what I would do is I would take one of these patterns that I really like. So I really like this position. Now, the reason I'm using 1, 3 and 2 is because it keeps my 4th finger available to do other things, right? Like if I want to do that, for example, rather than go straight to the next bit of the arpeggio, I've got the option to do that. Oops. So there's all those little options things there. So it's just about kind of combining the different shapes. So what I suggest is just getting one shape and messing about with it and just trying to improvise on it and using it as a limitation. So if we were to do that, I'm just trying to make it work. Oops, cheated. So doing something like that is quite limiting. But as I always say, right, the artist lives with limitations. It gives you something to push against, okay? Now, we know sort of like melodically where you think, oh, if you know, there are certain notes that I'm playing, it would be better to go to a different one. Well, once you have those ideas, we can start adding them in. Because I can hear, you know, let's just see what I can hear. But I can hear a sort of B note coming in there, and the B, that's going to be the 9, isn't it? let's give it a go. So okay. So you can just pick like a pattern to start with and get comfortable with it and just try and make music with it from the get-go, you know, because that's what it's there for. It's not there as like well, it can be there for a technical exercise, but really, you know, just try and make music with stuff. That's the best way. Okay. So we're back to Dorian again. So let's add a Dorian note in, continuing from yesterday with our new found arpeggio. So the Dorian note for us is going to be F sharp. So there's only one note difference between the Dorian, which is a minor scale, natural minor, and that is that we have like a major sixth as opposed to the minor scale, which is a minor sixth. Okay. So in other words, you know, rather than having we've got. All right, that's the difference. Yeah, that's got great mood sounds. Yeah. Okay. So we've got just joined, not great at guitar like you, but this is awesome. It's like pentatonic, but sounds outside. The pinky can always grab something. Yes. So you're keeping that pinky available. So I've been watching a lot of players who do that, and I'm like, why is that? Why are they not using the forefinger? And it's because it's available, because you can use all the other fingers and have that ready to do something, you know? See, there's a good little example there. So that's a little string skipping lick. So I'm just taking the first half. So it's just a, again, this will fit with what we're doing. So it's based. This is really A minor pentatonic. So we've got that, and then I'm playing one. I'll just switch on to a different sound, and then I'm playing this. So I've got first finger on the 12th fret, 14th, and then 17th fret with the forefinger. And then I'm hybrid picking on 17 on the second. Really, it's an A minor 7 arpeggio is what we're doing. And then what I do is I string skip up to this first string, and I just do a bar with this forefinger. So there's all sorts of fun you can have with that. Oops. Do that again. Yeah. So, who else we got? Oh, we got. There's Jeff. Hi there. Put in some good feeling. Hi, Mark Roberts. Cheers. And hey, Jeff. Sorry this window's big, but if I reduce this, then the other one on my main window gets a bit smaller. But anyway, what am I talking about? Yes, so sorry, who was mentioning the outside feeling? I suppose it gives you almost quite a fusion-y type of vibe. And was it who mentioned, or am I just saying things? Anyway, if we wanted to have let's say we wanted to have like an outside feel, we can add sort of chromatic notes to this, because actually what's happening here, when you think about the arpeggios that we're putting in, the pentatonic-y kind of things, we've got wide intervals and we can kind of close it down, almost building tension. With like pentatonic, with just regular sort of pentatonic licks. Sorry, we're in. Yeah, that's right. A minor. But then we can kind of increase tension in other ways by adding sort of chromatic stuff as well. So you can kind of go between the different feels and sort mixing them up. So from yesterday's lesson, I kind of based the Dorian thing around this Dorian sounding arpeggio, didn't I? But say we didn't want to start as melodic as that. You know, we could use one of those pentatonic shapes and then resolve it into something more melodic, as an idea. Sorry, I keep stopping this, but it's just to demonstrate things. So, you know, you could use it like that. We could use it the other way on. So we could go into that position. So which brings us into like one of those kind of pentatonic things. And that's just an octave repeating pattern. So, in other words, we've got just that pattern there, where we're going 10, 12, 15, 10, 12, 15, and then you up the next octave. So you put that, you know, so it's really easy to sort of build like these connections now. Oh, sorry. I like the sound on that pickup. So you can start kind of linking all these positions together. What's an overlay? Probably not. Is that like, well, that's always been there, the little thing, just whether with Kiesel and Hutch, and it's just whether I remember to switch the thing on. So, any more questions? Oh, the highlighting of chat, yeah. So I kind of coloured this bit in. Yeah. How did I practice legato? Oh God, I've had like this legato for years and years. Where I initially picked it up from was when I really kind of doubled down on it was years and years ago as a young teen. I think it was actually, when was it? No, I think it was the Richie Kotzen video, REH video, and I wanted to have like his legato. So that's where I got the idea from, and the hammers only. It's like, this is like way back. I've been doing it for as long as I can remember, really. Hi Des, how you doing? So Des, as I was just telling Sean, because he was kind of coming on sort of later, we've just been doing weird pentatonic shapes. So what it was is, I was doing this. Actually, I'll show you in here. Well, it'd be a good place. Yeah. So just an E minor. I was just taking people through these positions. And then we did all 5 of them, and then started messing about, soloing with them, really. Combining with that Dorian jam from yesterday. Oops. Yeah, so yeah, so it's all about, I did like a whole kind of everything you needed to know about legato. Actually, I didn't cover absolutely everything, but it's just economy of motion and really relaxing. That's what it is. So like there, I mean, what I'm doing is I'm trying to just practice how light I can play. You know, what can I get away with here? Because like the lighter you can get away with, the closer you can get your fingers to the frets. How can I find that flat? Well, it is like legato, is it? It's like running down a hill on a windy day naked with the wind hitting you. That's the feeling I want. Not that I've ever done that. Was a soul player forever, then one day I felt it was like to fly. Just frustrated being slow, and one day got mad, and to be honest, I just kind of threw my fingers at the riff. Right, so coffee and chat. So what, you know, when I'm reading that, you know, what you get the sense of is like careful practice. Why can't I play fast? And this kind of almost, you don't want to be exposed to the truth, because you know when you play fast, there's going to be loads of like mistakes, and you're going to have to sort them all out. You may be overwhelmed. You'll not know how to fix it all, right? And the thought that comes to mind, right, is music's a language, right? So if we compare language to music, okay, and I've said this before many a times, babies, for example. When a baby, right, learns to speak, okay, they don't make words, do they? But what they do is this: they test out the low parts of the voice, the high parts, and they do all kinds of different crazy noises, right? And how come as adults we don't go, quiet, baby, you're not doing speaking properly? Okay? But what the baby is doing there is practicing the capacity. Okay? It's seeing how much capacity there is. What are the highest notes? What can I really get up to? That's fun. Right? What's really low? What's happening in the middle? What sounds get the most attention from people? Okay? That's what it's about. What sounds feel... what? Because as part of intensive interaction, which I do a lot with sort of... because I work as a therapeutic musician, right? A lot of the time, patients who have, severe learning difficulties will make certain noises, and it's because they resonate in their bodies, and it's a good feeling. So, you know, babies do that. But what we don't do as adults, we don't go, stop doing that. It's a racket, right? Because they're practicing. And what I think your experience here is that getting mad and frustrated and then suddenly going for the speed is because you're finally testing out the capacity. Okay, so you now know you've got the speed, but it might not be connecting properly, but at least you know the capacity's there, and then it's just a question of kind of working up to that. I watched quite an interesting live with Andy, who obviously says, for muscle memory, you're practicing slow, which is great. But actually, to practice a lick really fast and to get it's kind of, you got to polish it up to speed. So his analogy, which was great, was like, it's like using a flywheel. You can't polish something with the flywheel going slow. It's got to be at speed. And, that is actually part of it. So practicing slow and getting the muscle memory together. But then when it comes to actually the application of how fast it's going to be, just go for it, and enjoy it. But that's kind of the sense that I get. And I think, okay, when we become adults, we understand judgment more. We've been through the education system, which tells us that we have to working hard is good, and if it's easy it's not good, and so you carefully all right, speed is a really difficult thing. These people practice years, so I've just got to do a little be careful and just set the metronome to half a BPM every month or something, and eventually I'll get there one day. It's just nonsense. Just go for it, because you're testing the capacity out. See what damage happens, cause the wreckage, and then pick the bits up and try and figure out how to put it together again. That's what I would say. Now, I have got the quality control officer for guitar playing, which is Des here. So, Des, what do you think of that, what I said? Would you agree with that? That's if you heard that. The baby analogy. Testing capacity, getting up to speed. Because once you know that you've got the speed there, right? All right. Because like when I was when I was just a small kid, I wanted to one of my early influences was like J.K. Lee, and I used to watch that. I used to be obsessed, like a 9-year-old with that Salt Lake City gig. Oh, that's amazing. And then I would just try and copy it. So I was just making my fingers move really fast. So I was getting used to that feeling, just like the baby. So yeah, so that's why it's working. That's mental legato, bastard. Oh, sorry, Des. Which am I using? I'm using Nunchuck. I'm using all of them, but not at the same time. So my new favourite thing is like Nunchuck, and that's what I'm using for my distortion, my breakup, all my lead stuff. I was having a go at it today, and I thought, shit, I wish I was as good as Tim. Oh, thanks, Des. Running down a hill naked, yes. Wind flying through you, whatever. Blank. Yes, I do. Good. Great analogy. Thank you, Perplexity. Running is not walking, gradually faster and faster, yeah. At a certain point, the mechanics have to change, yeah. So when we move up to speed, that's why you're polishing it up to speed. So it's just like fixing a car, isn't it? Actually, I haven't got a clue about like mechanics. What am I saying? Cars, but it's like engineering, isn't it? I don't see it as a kind of. Well, no, it is creative, isn't it? But it's just not what you would consider like musical creativity, as in terms of notes and emotion. But when we're fixing a mechanical problem, so if you're missing notes and there's a problem, maybe your pick's getting trapped. So therefore, you're looking at the engine, your pick and your hands as how they're interacting, and then maybe the pick angle has to change. So you end up, doing something like that. like slow. And actually, that's why I like using a footstool at the minute, because I've been working on my picking a bit. And what it allows me to do is actually see right into this hand. So I can test it out a few times to speed. If I'm not fully confident with what's going on there, slow it down. Just check everything's right. Yeah. That's kind of what you're doing there. Noise gate's kicking in some on my distortion channel. So yes, the mechanics do sort of have to change, but you can rehearse them at a slower speed. So that's me kind of typically practicing something. And just testing it up to speed. Anyway, losing the plot. Any more questions? So I think my next lesson is definitely going to be about my new nerdy passion, and that is my collection. I'm going to show everybody my collection of chromatic enclosures. Absolutely. So you're all going to be invited to this channel next week, and I will show you the collection of chromatic enclosures. Some I use, some I know of, and can't use yet. I haven't quite figured out where to stick them. But either way, you will see the collection demonstrated. You know, I think everybody should be using chromaticism in the playing. It's such a great way just to colour things, which is what the word means, isn't it? Super important question, mate. Are you a toot? No, I'm not. I don't support. It's not that. It's like, well, firstly, from Sunderland. Secondly, I don't support football at all. I can't play it. I'm like really bad. And I don't understand football. So I don't participate. Sorry. But I'm neutral. I know, like, Sunderland and Newcastle are very competitive. And historically, they fought each other in the Civil War. Oh, you live in Sydney? Lovely. What's the weather like there? Yes, we had. Yes, we had a civil war, 1600s, where we decided that's where we ended up. Parliament running the country, basically. Oliver Cromwell. you had the Roundheads fighting what was called the Royalists. So the people who supported the royal family fought the people who supported Parliament. Parliament won. If I had to pick a side, I'd pick the Royalists because I think they had better hair. Wow, 40 Celsius in Texas. Yeah. So it's probably about -1 here. Very cold. All right. Long question. You see, I live for the questions. Long question. I want to try Fishman pickups. I want something along the lines of Seymour Duncan, JB DiMarzio's. What do I suggest? Right, well, if you like the sound what I've got at the minute, these are the McRocklin Fishman signature pickups, which are my favourite ones. So my favourite Fishman pickups are these for, like, you know, that it's a blend of like a modern sound and the classic pickups, really. So you've got nice bright splits, but then you've got the aggression as well. So I really like these. These are very versatile. But then also have the orange guitar has the classics in, which are just a nice sound as well. So either of those are really good. I've had the JB pickups in a Gibson, and that was quite nice as well. But the Fishman are just, you know, it's active, but they're really good. You know, I love the sound of them. But I'm not a pickup expert. I'm not a pickup connoisseur. If I'm wanting a different sound, I'm more likely to try and like change my playing than actually stick some pickups in. So I've never really tried. I mean, I've never been in that situation where you're just wiring tons and tons of pickups into guitars and trying them out and then picking the best one. You know, I'd be like, oh, I suppose I'd have to record them all and then decide, but then even then when it comes to the feeling out, it would probably be the last one that I played that felt the best would be the ones that I would pick. I don't know how I'd scientifically pick the right pickups anyway. Because I just played Thomas's guitars and I went, oh, that one will do. What are those? Oh, it's my signature pickups, right. Well, let's have some of those in a guitar. So that tends to be how I roll with it. 80s shredder. Well, you're in the right here. I'm an 80s shredder. Me too. So we're in the right place. You're safe here. Yell's tone is perfect. Thank you. But there's no such thing as perfection. For it to be perfect, we'd have to look into objective perfection, which would mean everybody in the entire world, including everybody's grandmother, would have to agree that on high gain sound, that's perfect. Yeah, I had a JB in a Gibson. It was very nice. You like to, thank you. I'm only making fun. But yes, perfect. The reason I mentioned perfect, right, is because basically I'm a music coach and I run, I have like, sort of, you know, business plug here. I do have some music coaching groups, which people are more than welcome to join. And I've got a new group starting in February. Okay, it's filling up. And it's a great way for you to sort of just get your heads down and make absolutely tons and tons of music. So I guide people through a music making process which is absolutely totally indestructible and will assure that you produce, start and finish making music and release it. So the perfection thing, which is why I kind of mentioned that and then lost my thought, is like one of the kind of problems that people have in creativity is that they're always wanting to have assured perfection at what they're going to do. It's going to be perfect, you know. And as artists, it isn't we're not on a road of perfection. It's one of mastery. So perfection's like the horizon. You never really get to it. But it's all about the journey and the process rather than actually focusing on an end result. When we're focusing on an end result, that's where things stop becoming art and become design, because you know what it is that you're trying to achieve. And what you do is you negate all of the creative options to achieve that goal. Whereas like art is made from, we're unsure of what the outcome is, but what we are flexible to open to other ideas that kind of happen around us. And that's how we make things that are unique and surprising and wonderful. What do I do to achieve hand synchronization? So it's that thing of like just practicing slow, getting into muscle memory, and then getting it up to speed, and then working out what the problems are. There's a great book, The Inner Game of Music, and what it tells you to do is, like, when we're practicing, and you're practicing repetitions, you know, you can play it as fast as you can, okay, and then you can play it like as slow, and then you find a midpoint, and then just kind of play it. Now, at that point, what you're trying to do, in fact, what you're trying to do is not try. So you're not going in your head, I'm going to try harder when I get to this bit. All we're merely doing is playing at the speed that we can just about manage with and observe, and any problems that are there at a kind of lower level, your brain will fix. It's quite amazing. So it's almost I'm observing, and when I really get into it, it's almost like I'm observing as an out-of-body experience of watching what I'm doing. It's like I'm observing somebody else playing the guitar, like watching a sport, watching somebody play football or something like that. I'm watching my hands, and I'm not trying to do anything. That's it. Most of the types of guitar I get into, listen to, like jamming out some type of Dire Straits or even some Fleetwood Mac. Lovely. Cool. I've just picked up playing the guitar after watching Gary Moore. Wonderful. Played with Stevie Ray Vaughan, and thought to myself, I'd like to give it a try. Excellent. No, it's an absolutely brilliant thing to do, playing an instrument, you know. I highly recommend it for everybody. It's one of the most therapeutic things you can do as a pastime for health, well-being, all of that, community. I've asked before, but which model of Sony cam are you using? I'm using the CZ10. That's what I'm using. I think it's the CZ10. It's something. If you type that in and it was wrong, it would give you the right one. Yeah, that's what it is. So they're about, that with a lens, it comes to about $1,000 for one. And I use the Sigma lens with it, and it goes down to one. It's got like an f-stop of 1.4, so both cameras are set to 1.4. So I get a bit of distance in the back, but I can, I can reach. It probably looks further back than it actually is. It's like I've got a really long arm. Yeah, so right, so anybody who's interested in music coaching, making and producing tons of music, my email is basically in the description. Do get in touch, because like it's just a wonderful thing. Basically the groups have 4 people in and me coaching you, and we do 2 hours every week, and it's very reasonably priced. Anybody else who's been enjoying these lessons and would like some one-on-one tuition support, and it might be, it doesn't have to be a regular thing, but if you want to come in and have a booster lesson, there is a little bit of capacity for me to do the odd lesson here and there. I'm quite happy. Anybody on here who has been watching these, if you're wanting some one-on-one time with me on a Zoom call, and it's recorded and all that kind of stuff, I can help you there. We can do a lesson, so to speak, or guitar coaching. And anybody who's got any sort of serious music problems, right, and don't feel that the group or guitar will sort it out, but would like to have a one-on-one coaching session, where we basically have a framework of how we can solve pretty much any problem. If you want to get in touch and do that, then just send me an email, and we can sort it out from there. But there are the 3 ways I can help people outside of this channel. But other than that, I try to make this channel have as much value as it possibly can for free. So there we go. But I do have to run a business. I learned a lot from you and Thomas already. Brilliant. That's what it's all about, making the world a better place with music, because it needs it. Right, well, everybody, I'm going for my morning walk. I will schedule in the live for Monday, where I will show you my very nerdy chromatic enclosures. What do you reckon of that? Oh, that sounds good, isn't it? That's sexy. Chromatic enclosure. What shall I call it? My collection of chromatic enclosures. Come and see. But that's what we're going to be doing on Monday. So if you're into that sort of thing, it's going to be hard. All right then. See you, everybody. See you Monday. But I might be live with Thomas on Saturday. Have a great walk. Thanks, Perplexity. All right. Bye, everybody.